former lawyer to Nnamdi Kanu and the counsel to the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor has expressed readiness to file appeal at the Appeal Court of Justice against the judgment of Lagos State High Court that sentenced an Ebonyi State born security guard, Samson Ogochukwu, to death by hanging because he was accused of masterminding armed robbery attack against his employer after he was kidnapped and taken away by the armed robbers who dropped him along the road and gave him 100,000 naira cash gift to return to his village, but instead he decided to go back to his employer. The death row inmate, while calling for help with a video of himself inside the Kirikiri Maximum Prison in Lagos State, said one of the armed robbers happened to be the person who took him from Onitsha in Anambra State where he was, and helped him to Lagos State to get the security job. Adding, the person alongside other members of the armed robbery gang were later arrested by the police, but the High Court set them free and only sentenced him to death by hanging. Sahara Reporters had reported on November 13, 2024, that an indigene of Ebonyi State in the southeast region of Nigeria who is living in Lagos, Samson Ogochukwu, had cried out for help after he said he was sentenced to death by hanging by the Lagos State High Court for a crime he knows nothing about. Ogochukwu, who narrated his ordeal in a video that has since gone viral, said he was accused of arranging a robbery attack at a place where he was employed as a security guard gatekeeper in the Lekki area of Lagos. He had said he was arrested in 2017 after his friend he identified as Chuks Viviana Okonkwo from Imo State made him relocate from Onitsha in Anambra State to Lagos, and got the security guard job for him. However, he said the same friend who got the job for him brought 4 others to his place of work, tied him with a rope and forced him to take them to his employer, where they robbed his employer and carted away with his car and other valuables. After the robbery, Ogochukwu said the armed robbers forced him into the car trunk and ran away, but along the road, they brought him out, gave him 100,000 naira and asked him to leave Lagos and return to the southeast. However, he decided to go back to his employer to explain what happened, but got arrested and was accused of being the masterminder of the robbery. Subsequently, he was arraigned in court and convicted and sentenced to death by hanging, while the court discharged the criminals who were later arrested by the police. Barrister Ejiofor, in a statement on Friday, said that his chamber is taking up the case, adding, a junior lawyer in his chamber had been sent to the court that delivered the judgment to obtain documentary evidence and processes filed in the court leading to his conviction. Ejiofor, in a news release titled, "In response to the trending call for justice," stated in quotes below thus: "Recently, my social media platforms and, indeed, my phones were inundated with this trending video. Though I had, in response to this clarion call, directed a junior colleague to proceed to the court that delivered the judgment and obtain the necessary records of proceedings that will enable us to swing into action, which the process is progressing seamlessly, I am aware that a citizen charged with a capital offense is by law entitled to be represented by counsel. This should be the first hurdle." The accounts, as he provided in the video, regarding somebody who brought him to Lagos to find employment and later came with his gang to rob in the very household he was engaged in, is a statement of fact that will be verified and explored on our appeal when we are in receipt of the records. Let us see the records of proceedings of the trial court, read the evidence of witnesses that testified, their extrajudicial statements to the police, that of the convict and his evidence at the trial, if any, and then see how the learned trial judge evaluated admissible evidence, oral and documentary, and the findings of fact he made from accepted evidence, and further interferes with the convict. From the above findings, we will determine the direction of our legal arsenal on appeal. For the interim, I will implore the general public to give us the space to decisively deal with the case in line with the requirements of the law. Let us emphasize that this is a public interest brief. We are solely taking up 100% pro bono. As always, Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor stated.
Good morning, Ebonyi State. Ebonyi State, you know, post video na Facebook. I'm on the my family Samson Ogochukwu. Ebonyi State from Eza. Oh yeah, me 270 can actually call because you know mark. Oh no, Chakano, Anambra State. Or you working on Lagos, go choose Viviano from State. Same number go tell Lagos. Cultural baseball because when is born na Anambra State. We go tell Lagos 270 now. We chọrọ m ọrụ ebe a na-akpọ Lekki First One na Lagos a wee bido na-arụ ọrụ ebe a as a security gate man wee rụba ọrụ ebe a ama m na the boy nwee plan ọzọ o ruo one day ọ bịa iti mmadụ 4 ka nna m ya na-eme ejide m nke m ụdọ asị na ndị egosi ha ndị na-arụ ọrụ n'oyi a ka ọ chedebe n'aka m nkwanye mma kpọrọ ha je gosi ha ndị na-arụ ọrụ wee zuo ndị eweru zuo ha oru buru ma moto ha so ka ha na-apụ eburu mma tikpo m na ime buut o ruo ọgbapụ n'ụzọ ọkpọpụta m nye were 100,000 nye m si na mmanya dị mma nna bakwa ya isi ba agbafu mụ na amanụ m si mba ka nnachi azụ n'ụlọ nkọkwara aka dị tins wee mee so wee gbazie nachi azụ na the house ebe m na-esekio as security wee rukwa ebe a kọwara ha ka dị tins ka a na-afụ m ejide m kpọọ polisi bịa nkọwarụ polisi asị m na-asị na anyị chara ime maka izu wee plan agha so from there akpọrọ m jee court from court nwa dey to prison since 2017 na enwe m mmadụ enwedị m lawyer sef ya stand m na court ahụ so o tere aka atụrụ aka ndị nke jide ha ka ha jide ha na ha akwụkwọ ha na nwere gbasa m na amara maka ya asị na ama m maka na anyị chara na ebe plan chara so ndị ga-akpọ ndị be ha akpọta ha lawyer anyị na-eje court since 2017 na so ruo last month bụ 31st of October Ikeja High Court edichega mmadụ 4 hours sentence m dead by hanging asị na mmadụ ịkpọta ndị na-ezu ori and nwere ihe dị ụnyaahụ biko ndị Igbo nyenụ m aka biko eri m lawyer ejere m apị biko nyenụ m aka nwekwa nke mma biko ọ prison ka nọ yi ya na Lagos Kirikiri maximum prison ka nọ yi ya biko nyenụ m aka ndị Igbo nyenụ m aka biko ndị m lawyer help m je apị Ebonyi State nyenụ m aka post video ka mma nwee ga-enyere m aka biko nyenụ m aka ndị Igbo Ebonyi State prison ahụ bụ Kirikiri maximum prison Lagos Kirikiri maximum prison Lagos ọ dị side apapa side aka ọ dị ihe na-adị na room ahụ 4 ka a na-adị na ndị mmadụ 4 some people apụghị ilu obugwa toilet o nsị na-akpa gị ihe ebi ya tiri echi niile akpọchi ha na the door nsị na-akpa gị ihe ebi ya tiri echi niile biko nyere m aka ndị Igbo nyere m aka
Osazuwa Connect, bringing you the news in a more digital way.